Week 2 is in the books, and we've got some great plays to look at. Had some crazy weather again here in Week 2. Actually had several games that were cut short in the first half. Not going to make those non-conference games up, but hey guys, all we can do is roll with the punches. Good job in Week 2. We got some plays to look at and comments sent in from some coaches. So those are good plays, and we'll have a lively discussion with some of this stuff. I'm excited about you taking a look at these. Also want to mention our play bulletins. Those come in your email on Thursday. If you're not getting those, please drop me an email and ask to be added to our playlist, and we'll start emailing those out to you. This week we're going to cover illegal formations as well as false start versus offside, which coincides with one of the plays that we have in this week's video. So let's get on with it. Let's get to play number 1. All right, play number 1 is a false start versus defense offsides. What we've got in this play here is we're going to have some action on the center, and then we're going to have a couple of the defensive players jump off. Looks like the first guy jumps off basically reacting off the center, and the second guy follows him. But I want to talk a little bit about philosophy and a little bit about the rule here. And the rule we're talking about is 7.1.7, excuse me, and that's in page 57 of the rule book this year. And it talks about Article 7, after the ball is marked ready for play and before the snap begins, no false start shall be made by any A player. It is a false start if A, a shift or fine charge simulates action at the snap, B, any act is clearly intended to cause B to encroach, and then C is basically just lifting up your hand after the ball, the center's on the ball, and your hand's been on the ground if you're an interior lineman. The important here thing that I wanted to talk about and emphasize in our philosophy is if the offense does anything that causes the defense to false start, and this act can be construed as being something that simulates the play or something that simulates that the Team A players do at the snap, or if the snapper does anything crazy, by rule, this is on Team A. I think what the Rules Committee here is clearly demonstrating in is Team A knows when the ball is going to be snapped. They can't do anything that would confuse the defense by thinking the ball had been snapped. So, this philosophically gets us out of these situations. We see anything where the offensive team does something funny and then the defense reacts and gets in the neutral zone, or the defense starts pointing these players out. You get 2 or 3 guys pointing at an offensive player, and we see the offensive player twitched or flinched or did something that simulated the start of the play. Hey, we want to bang those guys. We want everyone in the stadium has seen what's happened. We want to flag that. That's a foul on Team A. So let's take a look at this play here. Focus your attention on the center. Now, for line of scrimmage guys, when the ball is about to be snapped, it's important that you park your eyes. You get your eyes stationary, because your brain can't process a new focal point. You have just that 0.3 of a second where your brain doesn't realize what's going on. So in that 0.3 of a second, something can happen, a flinch or a false start or something, and if your eyes are in the process of transitioning to a new focal point, you will lose that perspective. This is something Walt Anderson talks a lot about. So it's important, and what I do is I focus on the shoulder of the center at the line of scrimmage. Once the last shift has been made, my eyes are focused, and then out of the peripheral vision, I can see anybody on my offensive line false start, or I can see anybody on the defensive line jump into the neutral zone. So important to get your eyes still, give yourself the best chance to properly officiate this play. Now let's take a look at this action. Okay, see that movement right there is the center, right before those players jump in. Look at the center's left arm. And notice the rear end goes down in a jerking motion with the hand simultaneously. The defensive line thinks this ball is snapped, and they're reacting. So this is a foul on Team A. This is false start versus defense offside, 7.1.7. Check that out in the rule book. Good play to study. And line of scrimmage guys, it takes focus and concentration. You got to be on top of your game, be at the very best, get these plays 100% right, and you'll begin to separate yourself as a top quality line of scrimmage official. Not all the false starts are called by the line of scrimmage guys. These backs in the backfield and the quarterback, they're the responsibility of the referee. Now you see that guy, he's out way before the ball is snapped. Referees, you too have got to park your eyes, focus and concentrate, because you've got a rule on false starts involving these backs. Now look at that. Look at the coach up here at the 22, 23-yard line. Watch him. He knows it's a false start. These are ones that everybody in the stands knows. We got to bang them out, guys. He's out way before the play ever starts. So, we got to call this. This is a false start on an up back. A referee's call. We got to get them, guys. All right, here's another play also involving a back for the referees. Watch this tailback here, highlighted on the screen there. This is going to be a flinch, guys. Just watch, focus your attention here, referees. That little flinch. We didn't get a reaction from the defense, but we do get a reaction from the coach here at the bottom of the screen. Watch him again here, highlighting him for you. The tailback here. Boom, little flinch right there. He started the play. He started running. Boom, up. One more time, we'll highlight him for you. Oh, just a little hoop step there. That's not a shift. He's not resetting for the play. He's simulating the start of the play right there. See, that's a flinch. You got to focus and concentrate. We got to get those guys. Fortunately for us, he didn't run this play back for a touchdown, but there's no reason why, can you think of a reason why we're not getting these plays, guys? These are false starts. Our foul code for these are FST. But the coaches are seeing them, guys, on the sideline, and they're pointing them out. Both coaches saw it and said something. If we don't react to these, this line of scrimmage guy is going to get that chewed out. False start. Focus and concentrate. All right, next up we've got a holding play for you to look at, and this is going to occur on a kicking down, which, we've talked about this a lot. Kick downs, we get the least amount of repetition, and they have the most rule changes, so they're difficult to officiate. They require extra study and extra preparation time. And holding is one of our most subjective fouls that we call, so it's important that we study our philosophies and watch ourselves on tape and view a lot of these holding calls and try to become more consistent, because by and large we're not real consistent at these calls. Now, we've also got a problem here with this one. This is what I call a technique foul. And if you watch number 12 here, this is the player that's going to be involved in the foul. We're going to call a hold on this player. Now, he does get his hands to the outside, but the defender rotates and there's really no material restriction. And technique is what should key you in to a potential foul, but then you've really got to be able to put the foul in a category. You got to continue to watch the defender. He's going to really give it away if he's being held or not. Now, and one of the things we like to talk about is defenders don't normally run with one shoulder closer to the ground than the other. So if you see a technique where you see a potential hold, and you see the defender start running with one shoulder lower than the other one, he's getting held. He's telling you that he's getting held. That's a material restriction. An important word in a holding foul. You need a material restriction. Another thing I like to talk about is holding is legal with two exceptions. A point of attack and effect on the play. All other holding is legal. So if you see a potential hold, it has no effect on the play, it's not at the point of attack, leave it alone. Now, the exception to these are these huge takedowns that everyone out in the open field where we tackle a defender and everyone in the play sees it. We got to call those. But these other potential fouls, we need to leave them alone if they're not at the point of attack and don't have an effect on the play. Watch the technique, then focus your attention on the defender. Let's take a look at this play. Here's the potential, where we call the potential foul right here on number 12. Now look at the defender just rolls and keeps right on going. Did you see anything, if you're watching the action of the defender, did you see any clue that he was being held? That's where you've got to focus your attention. That's the place that we're going to see these fouls come to life. And we want them to be big. Make them big. We want them to show up on video. When the coaches look at these on video, and they want them to be able to look at this video and say, ah, there it is right there. So, take a look at this here. There's no material restriction. Do have some outside hands. Do have some technique problems with this, but there's no material restriction on the play. This is not a foul. Stay away from these guys, and you'll become more consistent at calling offensive holding. Let's give our line of scrimmage guys a chance to redeem themselves with this, the old swinging gate play. And guys, this is a tough play to officiate with 5 officials. We're doing some research on this, and we're going to try to come up with a mechanic that the state will adopt as being the official swinging gate mechanic for high school officials in Arkansas. But if we set up for the run and they kick it, we're in trouble. If we don't set up for the run and they run it, we're in trouble. So it's kind of a chicken or the egg thing, but we're going to work on this and try to come up with something a little better. Here what we have, let's take a look at this play. Watch these offensive linemen here. They're going to shift out, and then they're going to make a second shift where they all go into, looks like kind of a zone blocking technique. And the defensive guys all end up in the neutral zone. and this just turns into a mess. We do the worst thing we could possibly do here, which is call nothing. Second worst thing we could do is call defense offside. Guys, this is a false start. These offensive linemen are simulating the start of the play, and this is a false start. We should have shut this down and penalized the offense 5 yards, and mistakenly here we do nothing and let them set back up here. And this is just a bad situation, guys. We got to make a call here, and when the correct call is false start on the offense. 7.1.7. All right, that'll wrap it up here again for our Week 2 training video. Thanks for spending some time with us, guys. We're getting lots of comments from you, and we really appreciate that. Here's my email address, toddallen65@mac.com. Feel free to email me any questions that you have or comments or suggestions. Anything we can do to make this better, keep you interested, keep you watching video, we're glad to do that. Until next week, for the Arkansas Association of High School Officials, thanks for tuning in, guys, and we'll see you next week.